Curseborn SMP ended a lot sooner than I would have liked it to, but the first day of the server was unforgettable for me and it was so much fun. So that is why in this video I am just going to talk about everything that happened on that first day, and also what could possibly be the weirdest Ender Dragon fight in SMP history. The server might yet still come back, but I'm just really unsure about that. But now let's talk about the server's completely unique and original concept. So at the very beginning of the server, the effects are given out, the 5 effects being invisibility, strength, speed, resistance, and fire resistance, and 5 of the 10 players online will get those effects. And then after all those effects are chosen, the demon is selected, and the demon's goal is to wipe the effects off the server. Once all the effects are gone, he gets a permanent effect of his choice, whether that's health boost, strength, or whatever. By the way, this effect can never be taken off them, even upon death, they get it back straight away. After the demon gets his newfound power, the demon is re-rolled, 5 new effects are given out, and it's a really fun and interesting concept. And by the end, we were hoping that there would be, everybody gets a chance to be the demon and gets a permanent effect, but sadly it was not meant to be. Anyway, as soon as the server began, I knew I had to get geared up as quick as possible. That meant getting full diamond, that meant going to an ancient city, as wardens are disabled. And now let's talk about the rules. Yes, you heard me right, wardens are disabled, so that people can't just spawn 100 of them at spawn and just ruin the server. Along with that, end crystals are also banned, and so is netherite armor. Final thing banned is elytras. Going back to strategies, I knew I had to be the fastest person to loot up on the server, and that meant going to an ancient city, as since there are no wardens, they will be an absolute breeze to loot. That means very quick XP, lots of diamond armor, diamond tools, and lots more. Sadly, I did not get any effects myself, nor was I the demon, but that's kind of a good thing, as it means I'm never going to have the demon chasing me, and I'm never going to have to chase people with effects. Sadly, I lost all my audio footage, so this video is just going to be full of voiceovers, which is very unfortunate, as I feel there are a lot of things in this first episode that definitely needed reacting to, like my first-hand react, but sadly that will also never happen. The server had a 1-hour grace period, and after that, the end will open up, so I knew people will be dying to go to the end as fast as they can, but at the same time, it was quite late on in the day that we started this server, so hopefully nobody will be on by the time of the end fight. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the actual video. The server started the same as any normal Minecraft world: wood tools, stone tools, iron armor. Like I said though, my first mission was to find an ancient city, which do very commonly spawn below mountains, so I knew it was going to be very easy finding one if I just found a massive mountain and then just found a cave, which likely had a deep dark and then an ancient city below it. After I grabbed some food, I set out on my quest to find an ancient city. I went into a cave, got some quick iron, got it smelted, and I decided to try something. I had absolutely no expectation if this was going to work, and I said, does the demon know they are the demon? After about 30 seconds, a player by the name of Risty Goat said no, and now this meant that he was on my #1 list on who I thought the demon was, because why would he just say no to that question? I had absolutely no expectation of this working once again, and I think it did just work. While running, I encountered a couple players who were actually very geared up by now. I tried to steal their iron, and unfortunately that didn't work. Shortly after, the same player that I thought was the demon messaged me and said, I think I am the demon, but I don't know. This did confuse me a little bit. How can you not know that you're the demon? I coded this thing myself and BFB, and it does say on the screen, you are the demon, so you should know that you're the demon. I asked him a few questions about it, he didn't really reply with anything useful, but in the end, I do still think that he is the demon. By the way, while I was looking for an ancient city, I found a few structures along the way, including this shipwreck, a couple of villages with blacksmiths, and I eventually got myself some full iron armor. It took about 45 minutes and the grace period was nearly over, but eventually I found a mountain big enough to house an ancient city. As I started my ascent, I looked around for a massive cave that I could enter, hopefully find a deep dark, and then eventually an ancient city. Eventually the grace period ended, the server was going to get refreshed, that we could add the Java PvP, which did kind of mess with the command blocks, which is why we decided to wait until the refresh to put the Java PvP mod on. And I also did find that deep dark biome, but I wasn't sure if there was an ancient city, so I waited on BFP to arrive to go find the ancient city, and I also waited for that refresh. Eventually I made my way into the deep dark, and eventually I did manage to find that ancient city I was looking for. Very luckily it was underneath this mountain. I got into the ancient city, looted a couple chests, and eventually BFP was ready to be teleported in, so we split up and tried to loot the ancient city, and he went left, I went right. Also, I did manage to find a decent amount of diamonds in this cave. We looted the ancient city for a while, but this was around the time I had to go off as I had to get something to eat. But while I was gone, my teammate BFP had been attacked. Someone who we had thought was agreed to be our teammate, named Will beforehand, had decided to kill BFP while he was like in a furnace or something. And yeah, Will betrayed BFP, and they now had full control of the ancient city. And I was logged off in the direct center of this ancient city. When I logged on, their entire team would be there waiting for me. I looked back on the server and immediately tried to hide behind some pillars to make sure that they were nowhere near me. I had only seen 2 name tags, so I decided to dig into a wall and get some reinforcement. The plan was laid out. It was going to be a 3v2, me, my teammate BFP, and this guy named Yasultan who was playing the server, and we are all very capable PvPers. We're going to win the 3v2, and we were going to take back control of the ancient city. After hiding for about 10 minutes deciding what to do, I decided to TP in BFB and Yasultan, and we decided to go fight. I started digging a staircase up. Eventually we got out of the tunnel and we were going to go and fight them. We eventually found a player by the name of Mickey and we started chasing him down. I got a couple good swings in, but then he led us back to his teammates. He did play the fight pretty good, to be fair. He ran away and got us to his teammates. This is where everything starts to fall apart, as when I thought that there was 2 players, there was actually 3, and one of them was a player named Mousky who was giving the invisibility effect, so there was no way that I could have known that it was a 3v3. So when we thought we were taking a 3v2 with the element of surprise, in reality it was them with the element of surprise in a 3v3, and in reality they had cobwebs, they outgeared us. I tried to run, and I lost. I don't think I played the fight bad, I think I did it alright, but one of them had speed, one of them had strength, one of them had inverse. Honestly, it was not a winnable fight in the end. I was super demotivated after this. My head was rushing. I blamed BFP. Why would he trust Will? Why would he TP there? There was a big part of me that just wanted to give up right there, leave BFP and just go on my own and find a new team and all that. But I didn't. I had to get revenge on Mickey. I had to get revenge on Mousky. And I was going to do it if it was the last thing I'd do. That's when I realised the end was open. And I'm a good speedrunner, so I decided I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to get geared up, get full diamond from end cities, and I'm going to get the Dragon Egg, cementing myself as a powerful player on the server. With the end opening just an hour into the server, I knew that nobody would have had time to go there, especially with all the gearing up and all the fights that had just been taking place. I mean, though, I guess GG, Mikio, GG, Mousky, etc. But man, even 2 months later, I am pretty annoyed about this one. Unfortunately, I lost some of my footage of my Nether expedition, but of course, I went to the fortress, got blaze rods, got ender pearls and all that, and I went to the stronghold. It took about an hour, but yeah, I found the stronghold, I found the library, and I got geared up, I got some cobwebs, I got some enchantment books, it was very good. This library was stacked, by the way. I got 4 enchantment books, one with sharpness 4, which is absolutely insane. Another had power 4, knockback 2, acro affinity, etc. And on top of all that, I got a bunch of cobwebs as well, so that was a very nice library, and then there's also a second one. The second library wasn't quite as stacked as the first one, but it's still a very nice way of getting a bunch of cobwebs. After a bit more searching, I did find the stronghold room, I broke the spawner, and also set my own spawn. At this point, everybody was logging off for the night, so I knew that I would be uncontested for the dragon fight. I made a backup chest with all my spare loot that I didn't need for the dragon fight in case I did die and lost it. After that, I filled the portal and I was ready to be the first player on Curse 1 to enter the end. I ended up building the island and started killing the dragon. I started shooting down all the towers and I realised when the dragon came and rushed at me that the knockback was increased from the dragon. This is because Java Aspects mod was on along with the Java PvP, which meant that the dragon would do a lot more knockback. And honestly, I was all for this. I just thought it would mean that the dragon knocked me off the towers a little bit more, and it means I would have to do a couple more water bucket clutches, which is honestly just a bit more fun. I mined some endstone and I was ready to scale the side of one of the towers. Quickly, I'm just going to show how much knockback the dragon was actually doing. Did you see that there? I was in that little hole. He shouldn't have been able to hit me out, so I realised that it was increased even further than Java knockback. Not only this, but the end actual island was generated super strangely. It was really small and there was a bunch of gaps in the island. At this point, I was genuinely worried that the dragon was going to be able to knock me off the side of the island, with its increased knockback even bigger than Java Edition knockback. Along with the blatantly scuffed end island, I was very worried that it was going to knock me off the side. In Bedrock, when the dragon is perched, it normally can be blocked by the shield and it comes after you once its perch is done, but just look at how much knockback that did. That is absolutely insane, and I had to go mining for more blocks that I could tower the side of the tower once again. About 4 water bucket clutches later, I was eventually able to get up the tower and take down the crystal. I mined some more blocks and I went for the caged crystal. I eventually got the final caged crystal and I was ready to play the game of attacking the actual dragon itself. The dragon eventually perched and I went in to make a load of hits, and I did get some decent damage done. In Bedrock Edition, the dragon is normally down for a very long time, so I did manage to get a lot of damage dealt. Alright, so look at this now. As the dragon was about to leave, it knocked me. Look at this. What the hell? Just how? Did you actually just see that, though? The dragon knocked me 270 blocks away from the main island. How does that even happen? After this, I was in utter disbelief. I did not know what to do. And I wish I didn't lose the audio footage of this, because it was so funny, my reaction. It was actually insane. And looking back, it was super funny, the way I just fell off the island like that. But man, it's still so annoying. I lost so much gear. Eventually, I just settled on going back in and hitting the dragon with my fist. I did have a spare iron sword that was nearly broken, though, so that was kind of handy, but it was a very long and tedious process of just punching the dragon until its eventual death, as all the crystals were gone. Also, I don't know why this happened, but the dragon was so much louder than usual. Just listen to this. Imagine having to listen to that with a headset on. Anyway, it took a very long time, and my iron sword even broke, so I did just have to continue hitting it with my fist, but I did eventually kill the dragon. I got all 68 levels that the dragon drops, and also the dragon egg. An absolutely amazing win, and the first one of the server for me. Also, I had to break about 3 endstone blocks with my fist, which was an absolute pain, but it was worth it to get that amazing dragon egg, the rarest item on any Minecraft server, and it is one that is very sought after. After this, I had to leave the stronghold with nothing but a piece of iron and a dragon egg, and I nearly died so many times. I just had to keep running past all the mobs. It was really funny, actually. But I did get out of there alive. I got some bookshelves and made my way out of the stronghold. Eventually, I did manage to get back to spawn, and it was quite refreshing and quite a peaceful time of the day. No one was on, and I was honestly kind of relieved I was not going to get jumped at spawn. I knew that I would have to return to the end at some point to get elytras and also to get geared up. Obviously, elytras are banned, I'm not allowed to use them, but it's just kind of a cool thing to have. I also needed to get geared up very quickly. Look at my gear right now. No armor, iron axe, not even a shield. Genuinely undergeared. The next morning, when other players would start to log on, everybody would be in full diamond armor, full iron armor. So I had to catch up, but that's all I have time for today. Sorry to the other Curse One members who were kind of expecting this video to come out. It's been over a month since the server ended, but like I just didn't really have any motivation to edit it, but I did finally get some motivation when Season 2 started. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was definitely one of the weirdest Ender Dragon fights I've ever seen. And let me know, do you think this is the weirdest Ender Dragon fight in SMP history? Because this is a strange one. Anyway, as always, make sure to subscribe, as less than 10% of people who watch my videos actually are, and thanks for watching, bye.